Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stewart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:35 p.m. It is the 19th of December. I've said it once, I'll say it again. 2024 has flown by. The last month of the year, counting down the days before Christmas, counting down the days before the end of the year, and lots of people excited, of course, coming into the festive season, as we know. We're going to be looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today here in Spain, some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times too by viewers. Then, as always, we'll go into the chat section and check out what is happening in the live chat section. So if you are watching this evening, say hello in the live chat. Now, straight into the news, and a murder mystery appears to have been solved by Google Maps, or at least it's helping with the investigation and has led to a couple of people being arrested in a small town in the province of Soria in the north of the country. As we can see here, the viral Google Maps image of the alleged killer becomes a key clue in the Soria murder investigation. A Google Maps image linked to a murder in a small village in Soria has gone viral on social media. The case involves a woman and her current partner who have been arrested for allegedly killing and dismembering her husband, a Cuban man who had been missing for months and whose remains were discovered in the cemetery of the village of Andaluz. According to municipal sources, the national police had been investigating the victim's disappearance for months after his family reported him missing. On Tuesday, his dismembered body was found in the cemetery of Andaluz, a village with around 20 residents in the Berlanga de Duero region, and the two suspects were subsequently arrested. Apparently, according to the government delegation in Castilla y León and the National Police, the Google Street View photo showing a person loading a sack into a maroon vehicle, while not conclusive, has been proven to be one of the clues used by investigators. They discovered the image during their inquiries using a location search application. And the picture in question, I'll show you it now. Of course, nobody knows exactly what is in the sack being put into the back of the car, but we can see here that it looks fairly suspicious. And of course, in a village here of around 20 people, the day that you decide to do this, the Google Maps car is cruising the streets of your village. And apparently it's the first time since 2013 that the Google vehicle has decided to update the images of that town. And those images subsequently have been taken down. I wasn't able to find them on Google Maps today. I had to go to an internet image to find it. But we can see here that is the person that has been arrested, putting a very suspicious package, or very suspicious, don't know how you would even describe that, a bag into the back of that vehicle. And there are also other images caught by Google Maps showing the same person with a wheelbarrow walking down the street with that package in the wheelbarrow just before he put it into the car. So a bad day for that person, and that of course has subsequently led to the arrest of the two prime suspects, and the body has also been found. So yeah, strange piece of news, but I'm sure that Google Maps has solved crimes in the past, and it will continue to do so with these Street View images, catching people out doing the wrong things at the wrong time. Second piece of news here, and we can see that Spain nears 49 million residents in 2024, setting a new record thanks to immigration. Spain's population is approaching 49 million residents in 2024, marking the highest figure in recorded history, according to the population census released this morning by the National Statistics Institute. As of the 1st of January 2024, 48,619,695 people were registered in the country, over 500,000 more than in 2023. This population growth is attributed to an increase in foreign-born residents, which rose by 7.13% this year to reach 8.8 million. Meanwhile, the number of those born in Spain decreased by 0.25%, primarily due to a sharp decline in birth rates, which have dropped by 24.7% over the past decade. The INE noted that the most populous foreign nationalities at the start of the year were Moroccans, 920,000, Romanians, 620,000. Well, there are some extra numbers there, but I won't go through them. And Colombians, 587,000. However, the nationalities that saw the largest growth compared to 2023 were Colombians, 124,000 up, Peruvians up 47,500, and Venezuelans up 47,000. In contrast, the biggest declines were among nationals from the United Kingdom, down 11,600, Romania down 9,200, and Bulgaria down 2,300. So people are coming, people are leaving Spain. The highest numbers of people that we can see there, Moroccans, of course, the big group of immigrants or foreign residents living in the country, followed by Romanians, Colombians, and of course more Colombians, Venezuelans, and Peruvians are coming to Spain, given the political difficulties, let's say, in their countries of origin. Coming to Spain looking for work, coming to Spain looking for more opportunity, coming to Spain looking to improve their lives, no doubt. And on the other hand, as we saw there, the people from Britain, United Kingdom, down 11,000. 11,500 was it? Let me have a look here quickly. 11,500, more or less, less or fewer people from the United Kingdom residing in Spain. So interesting data. Next piece of news here, and the Balearic Islands in Madrid lead economic growth since the pandemic in Spain. The autonomous communities of the Balearic Islands in Madrid have been the most economically resilient in navigating the pandemic, energy challenges, inflationary pressures, and industrial sector difficulties. Between 2019 and 2023, according to regional accounting data published on Wednesday by the INE, the Balearic Islands grew by 5.8% and Madrid by 5.7%. Nationally, growth was 3.6%. In contrast, Extremadura, Ceuta and Melilla remain the regions that have yet to recover the ground lost due to COVID-19, with declines of 1.5%, 1% and 1.4% respectively, compared to 2019. Catalonia, meanwhile, grew by 3.1% over the same period, less than the national average, widening the gap between Madrid and Catalonia as Spain's two largest regional economies. In 2018, following tensions related to the independence movement, Catalonia lost its position as Spain's leading economic region to Madrid. Together, the two regions continue to account for 38.4% of Spain's GDP. So there we go. Those are the areas that are growing economically here in Spain, and some areas that are not doing too well. Extremadura, Ceuta and Melilla still trying to recover what they lost during the pandemic. Madrid growing, of course, as we saw there. Balearic Islands as well. Tourism, no doubt, the main force behind the Balearic Islands growth. Also, some big companies coming out of the Balearic Islands. Let's not forget that. Some of the big tourism companies in Spain, hotel chains, and also some famous brands coming out of the Balearic Islands, adding to the GDP there. And Catalonia, as we saw, slipping back a bit because of all of the uncertainty that they brought upon themselves back in 2017, thanks to Spain's number one fugitive, Carles Puigdemont. Last piece of news now, and the urgent goal. Clear the yards of cars and debris from the Dana after two fires in 48 hours. 50 days after the Dana storm, car storage yards and piles of debris remain near numerous affected towns. Fires earlier this week on Monday at a lot in Catarroja holding stacked vehicles now extinguished, and on Sunday had a landfill in Alberic filled with flood-damaged items still active as on Tuesday, have raised serious concerns. The president of the Generalitat, Carlos Mazón, emphasized yesterday that at no point was there any risk of harm to people during the Catarroja fire, but stressed the need to continue speeding up the removal of vehicles. In this regard, the Regional Minister for Environment, Infrastructure and Territory, Vicente Martínez Mus, announced the activation of the third and final phase of the Generalitat's waste plan. The aim is to clear the designated sites and transfer the debris to landfills in coming weeks. So the people of that part of Spain, the Valencia region, still doing it tough with all of this rubbish lying around, cars that are no longer of any use, other things that were not able to be salvaged from the floods ending up in areas down there very close to towns. And of course, we saw the other day, Wednesday, I think we saw that some bright arsonist decided to set a couple of fires in all of the debris. Don't know what for, but obviously that person got their kicks from setting all of that stuff on fire. And of course, the toxic smoke creating an issue, they first thought, for the people of the village of Catarroja, because those cars were exploding. All of the smoke from the burning tires and all of those things, toxic smoke. But according to Mr. Mathon, no problem now, I think. At no point was there any risk of harm to people. Do we believe Mr. Mathon? That's the question, and I'm sure lots of people in Valencia would take what Mr. Mathon says with a pinch of salt and probably go straight in one ear and out the other, given that he has lost all credibility. And why he's holding on to his job, basically nobody knows. Now into the comment section here, one from Eddie. Madrid is indeed the motor of the country. I always tell myself to avoid the big cities when in Spain, but I always end up in Madrid. The place really does offer the best of everything you can find in Spain, and often much cheaper. I look forward to my next visit in 2025. Cheers from Cairns, far north Queensland. Thanks, Eddie, for that. Yeah, Madrid, the motor of the economy. We saw it there in an article a minute or so ago, a couple of minutes ago. Madrid and the Balearic Islands, the two motors of the country currently. Some areas, as we saw, struggling a little bit. Extremadura is always the surprising one because it's one of those areas that never seems to get off the ground for whatever reason. Don't know whether it's because of its geography, whether it's because a lot of young people don't remain. There's no companies, no big companies in Extremadura, so that could be one of the reasons. But Madrid, everybody comes to Madrid, and it seems everybody going to the Balearic Islands contributing to that GDP growth. So, yeah, interesting. And Madrid, as I said in a video that I published earlier in the week, I believe, for me, the most dynamic city in the country where everything happens. And you can find basically anything you want in the big city, which is Madrid. But it's not without its problems, as Eddie points out there. Next comment here from, let me see if I can get it back on the screen, from Cindy. O Stewart, Tim Hortons was started by Tim Horton, an ice hockey player, in 1964. Started as coffee and donuts, but now serves other food options. It became a chain and has continued to grow since his death in a car crash in 1974 after a game. I definitely would not call the coffee high quality, but better than regular restaurant coffee. Thanks, Cindy, for that. The Tim Hortons coffee chain, or coffee and donuts, whatever they serve there, also with a presence here in Spain. Must have been bought by a Spanish business. The franchise, of course, that's what normally happens. I'm sure that the company didn't come into Spain without that franchise option. I don't know, to tell you the truth, but normally through franchises, I think. And setting up in various locations to try to attract the tourist into the Tim Hortons, because obviously Canadians, North Americans maybe, that are familiar with the brand. But the average Spaniard, I don't know if they're familiar with the Tim Hortons brand. A former ice hockey player, I imagine it's Ice Hockey Canada, who died in 74 but started the business in 64. So it's been around a while, longer than I've been on the planet, that's for sure, and still going today. Tim Hortons. Thanks, Cindy. One here from Neil. YouTube is now riddled with ads. Not Stu's fault. Worth subscription if used a lot. Yeah, thanks, Neil. I understand that YouTube's revenue model is based on advertising. In fact, Google's model seems to be based a lot on advertising, and the idea is to get people to create content and they get a chance to share the revenue with YouTube, which is the current system that we have. Is it the best system out there? Probably not, but for people like myself and other people that put videos out 10 years ago, it was impossible to make any money doing this, but now people can make money, and some people make a lot of money. For example, the people at the top of the tree, Mr. Beast, Cristiano Ronaldo, who's decided to start a YouTube channel, and he wants to become the #1 YouTuber in the world, does Cristiano, and he's got a fairly fancy content setup, content team. and try and do, as I said, very ambitious Mr. Ronaldo, thinking that he can become the number one YouTuber in the world. Don't know if he can, considering that his career is almost over. Will he will he continue to be a household name when he's long gone from the game of football, at least playing, that is? Don't know. Time will tell. But I think a lot of former athletes struggle to stay in the mainstream or the spotlight, and we'll see if the same thing happens to Mr. Ronaldo, or if indeed he does reach his dream of becoming the biggest YouTuber on the planet. He wasn't able to become the biggest, most successful footballer on the planet, of course, because he had Lionel Messi challenging him constantly, but he tried. Good luck. Next one here from Anthony. I can't imagine wanting to eat at McDonald's, let alone stay enough to enjoy a beer there. I don't really think anybody enjoys a beer in McDonald's, maybe except for teenagers who get served underage because they don't ask for ID. Maybe they do, Anthony, but McDonald's is, as we know, a very, very successful business despite not getting any of your business. So, yeah, and the fact that you can have a beer at McDonald's here in Spain, or Burger King, or any other fast food restaurant is a pro for some people that like to have an alcoholic beverage with their burger. You're only going to get beer or soft drinks, no wine at McDonald's, or at least not yet. Could be an idea going forward, don't know. Another one here from Pav. Well presented video, Stu. The meal looked very filling and was good value at €23. However, it confirmed my doubts as to whether the food in the interior of Spain is really my bag. Along with my own personal experience there, I feel that for me, the food on the Valencian coast is more to my liking. The fish dishes are looking good and tasty, and tasty. The salads are fresh fruit, salads and fresh fruit. Likewise, keep up the great videos. Thanks, Pav, for that. Yeah, the food in the centre of Spain, in the Castillas, the deep Spain, as I like to call it, rural Spain, can be a little bit, what was the word that Pav used there? Not really his bag, and I'm sure that's for a lot of people as well. Not really their cup of tea, you could also say. I personally like the food in the centre of the country. I like the food in the coastal areas as well. I like the food basically everywhere I go here in Spain. I don't really have many complaints as far as food goes, but I understand that if you're in the middle of Castilla-La Mancha, as I was the other day, and you get something that they call pate put in front of you, and it doesn't look all that appetizing, you might say, maybe it's not for me, this food, but you've got to try it. As you would, and I mean, it's not, we're not eating insects or anything like that just yet, but tasty food, I will say. Another one here from Mike. Most unappetizing looking dishes, but you never know, they probably taste okay. They do, Mike. You can clearly see Spanish food is mostly derived from peasant dishes. The traditional dishes, of course, the ones that have been cooking away on stoves here in Spain for centuries, are the originally probably have that peasant origin, people that were working in the fields, the campesinos, as they call them here, people that would do long days in the field from sunrise to sunset, stopping for lunch, and they needed hearty meals. They needed meals high in calories to keep them going. And the tradition remains still today. When you go to some of these traditional restaurants, you can buy more modern takes on Spanish cuisine if you like, but the traditional dishes are the ones that I have been choosing to eat when I go to these places. Thanks for that. And yeah, they might not look the best, but they do taste good. They do taste good. I can almost guarantee it. I'm not lying in those videos. I am giving my honest thoughts. One here from George, the final one. Open since 1945, I think you said. That tells me they're doing something right. Enjoy. Yeah, I was surprised at that restaurant, George, because it said on the menu since 1945, or desde 1945. And to stay in business that long, because we're getting close to 80 years of operation there on the side of a road here in Spain, and I'm sure that village was probably booming back in the 1960s and 70s, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it would have been booming in the 40s and 50s because I don't think anywhere in Spain was booming. So the person that decided to set that restaurant up just off one of the main roads in the country, the A3, just a slight detour off the main road, so it's not difficult to find, and bringing income to the village, which has survived on agriculture, I imagine, for centuries, I would say. But yeah, long time to be in business and still going today with that traditional feel, which is what I'm trying to look for in a lot of these restaurants that I go to. Thanks, who was that? George. Thanks, George, for that. Now I'm going to go into the live chat in just a moment. Before I get there, I'm going to change the backdrop picture. This photo was sent through by Steve, who lives in Aragon in a place called, I can't remember exactly where it is, but this is his local area. Tazacorte, is it, I think, or somewhere like that? I think, don't quote me on that, but I think it is the place. Overlooking the snow-capped mountains. The photo was taken on the 17th of the 12th, so a couple of days ago. 2024, snow-capped mountains there. I think the Moncayo Mountains are the ones that we can see in the background there. So thanks, Steve, for sending the photo through. And if anybody's got a similar pic that they would like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen currently, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Or if you have any other information that you would like to send my way, feel free, spainspeaks@gmail.com. The like icon is also going on the screen too. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please consider doing so. It's quite an easy process. You just hit the button you'll see below the video with the thumbs up, and we'll see if we can get a decent tally. 47 likes currently, only 110 people watching, so not a huge viewership this evening, but I imagine the closer we get to Christmas, people are out celebrating, doing their Christmas shopping and all of those things. So we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally. 57 currently, so hit the like button, please. People that have supported the channel in recent times, I am very appreciative of that support. Super thanks option here on YouTube, super chat as well, buying me a coffee, Patreon. Thank you very much for that support on or through those ways there. And also people that have supported the channel here by becoming a member of the YouTube channel, $1.99 a month. Fairly simple, and you help also to you help me create content, let's say. So thank you very much for that. Now I'm going to go into the chat section. I think there's a couple of super chats, so I'll get those out of the way first. The first one that I saw was from TOL, regular viewer, of course, currently in the Puerto de Santa Maria, I think is the area there. Thanks, Al, for that. $19.99. Very, very generous. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I think there's another one as well. $4.99 as well. Thank you very much, Al. Double super chat from Al. Merry Christmas. Could not do... I think I couldn't do the exact amount or something. I think that says there. Thank you very. I couldn't adjust the amount. Thank you very much, Al, for that. Very, very generous, as I said before. Now, I've taken the backdrop photo off for some reason. I must have made a mistake there. Let me just put it back on there. There we go. The picture that Steve sent through. We can see those wind turbines there just over my shoulder here. And, yeah, fairly common sight nowadays on the Spanish landscape, those wind turbines. Let's go into the super chat. We've got Pamela, the first, the chat, sorry. Pamela's the first person I can see saying a simple hello. Hello, Pamela. Amanda's coming in from a dark and chilly UK. Well, good to see you, Amanda. John's also in the chat as well, hoping all is well. Thanks, John. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look here. Al saying hello, the super chat contributor that we saw before. TOL, regular viewer, and a member as well of the channel. Thanks, Al. Hola amigos desde muy frío, el Puerto de Santa Maria. Only 15 degrees. Starbucks restaurant owners are pleased that they convince people that a $5 or €5 is a good price for a coffee, costing 25 cents. Yep, that's the secret to that business, right? All about the marketing, selling a cheap product for quite an expensive amount. That's it. And coffee is something that has changed a lot in my lifetime, especially coming from Australia, where back when I was growing up, people traditionally drank tea. I was always a tea drinker growing up. Some people would drink Nescafe, the old instant blend or international roast or one of these other instant coffees. But the barista scene started probably maybe the 2000s, I would say, when it started to take off, maybe a little bit earlier. And that's changed forever. And of course, people are now paying exorbitant prices for a cup of coffee in Australia. Andrew coming in. Good evening, Stuart, TOL and Amanda. I hope you're all having a good week. Coming in from a cold London southeast. Good to see you, Andrew. Thanks for joining again today. Janet, bitterly cold in Oxford. Nasty wind. Stay indoors, Janet. Not recommendable to go outside, of course. Brad, hola Stewart. That's how my name is normally spelt here in Spain, except for the T on the end. Normally the T is left off as well, but I get the E thrown on the front. Thanks, Brad, for reminding me. Barbara's here also. Player Flamenca. Cloudy, 20 degrees today, so the temperature's gone up a little bit there. Thank you very much for that, Barbara. Always interesting to see what's going on. Temperature reached 24 degrees. The cats are in seventh heaven in Malaga, according to Brad. Thanks for that. Coolish in Terrassa, not so sunny as yesterday. The lift story is moving forward, engine installed and workers climbing up and down. With a bit of luck, tomorrow it will work again. And Erica will have her mobility back, going downstairs, being able to get out of the flat, of course. So let's hope it is fixed by tomorrow, Erica, or for tomorrow. Paradox saying that Google Maps story is crazy. You would think he saw the Google Maps car. It's ridiculously easy to spot. Yeah, I've seen the Google Maps vehicle a couple of times on my travels around Spain. I can't remember exactly where, but it is a very, very difficult vehicle not to spot, especially if you're in a town with only 20 people and you're trying to commit a crime, allegedly, and you see this strange-looking vehicle. You think, what's going on? Maybe I should, but again, probably that was the motive was already there. He had his plan worked out, and you're not thinking that Google Maps is going to be coming to your little rural village in Soria. And if anybody who's been to Soria will know that is a place that the rest of the world seems to have forgotten. A lot of those villages. I've never seen anything like it in my life. Some of the villages there, you just don't see people. People are living there. They're indoors because it's freezing cold during the winter months, hot in the summer, and you don't see a lot of life in these villages. Maybe the odd civil guard car coming around every now and again, or hunters coming back from a morning of hunting, but not a lot of activities going on. Marianne coming in, attending the live stream from San Diego. ¿Qué tal? Thanks, Marianne. Good to see you. Rover 400, a rare sight on Google Maps. Well, those are the cars that we're also dealing with in those small towns, old vehicles. And there's a strange story about the alleged killer. Here, very a strange story behind him. He was known by locals as the Wolf because of a wolf tattoo on his arm. Nobody seems to know who he is, where he's from. All they know is that they called him the Wolf, El Lobo. So interesting. He worked in a bar. Dave, valued member 2. Thanks. Hola todos. Hope all is well. I like the Spanish updates. Stu, keep up the good work. Thanks, Dave, for that. I will do. Come the new year, not really any changes coming up, I don't think. If there is, I'll let people know. Gigi, valued member 2, coming in from Surprise, Arizona, with the temps today at 28 degrees Celsius. Never seems to get cold in that part of Arizona, I will say. Probably the reason Gigi and family live there. Andrew, frankly, why at the moment people would want to go back to the UK beats me. It's a political nightmare. Got no idea. Maybe as we saw, the time in Spain has come up. Maybe a lot of people are heading into their later years. Maybe partners pass away, Andrew. and people decide to go back to where family is still located. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of people. People that come down here in their 60s, get into their 70s and 80s. One of the couple passes away, as I mentioned, and what are you going to do here? I don't know. Probably going back to the UK seems like the best option, and I'm sure that's one of the main driving reasons, but I could be wrong. Sani coming in from Basingstoke, have been catching up with the live streams, just back from Paiporta, up the epicenter of the Valencian floods. Paiporta, good to see you back in the UK. Sani. Darren coming from a cold Sid Cup, off for dinner out in a restaurant. Atletico Madrid are doing well at the moment. Yeah, they're going quite well. They're a bit nervous at the beginning of the season. They seem to have found the goal, or found the net, in recent times. So supporters are happy. The two that I live with are happy anyway with the performance of the team. But it's a long season, and it all depends on whether Real Madrid or Barcelona have a bit of a hiccup, because as we know, history will tell us that really only two teams ever win the La Liga. Atletico's in there with a chance some years, but that's about it. Paradox saying here that Tim Hortons isn't that bad. It's slightly better than your average cup of joe in Spain. There we go. I've got to try it. I've got to see if there's one near where I live. Maybe there is in one of the shopping centres. Don't know. Philip saying, good to see you on your Thursday evening talk. Look forward to your videos. Thanks very much for that, Philip. Good to see you're here, valued member too. TOL saying that McDonald's in France serves wine, if he's not mistaken. Yep, most likely that the French McDonald's would have a little bottle of vin. Starbucks has a drive-through, which is convenient if you're running errands. Yeah, not here, Johnny. Probably in the States they do, but I haven't seen it here, the Starbucks drive-through. In fact, the only Starbucks that I've seen are in either shopping centres or on high streets or main streets in the centre of the city. What else we got going on here? Juan, excuse me, like 48, Juan the Argentinian in Portland, Oregon. Thanks for that, Juan. Good to see you. Like number 48 too. Thank you very much. Barbara, did I receive the Valencia photos I sent on Sunday? I think probably I did, Barbara, but I think we saw some of yours last week, so I want to try and get some other photos in as well. But I will get around to posting some of them. Don't worry about that. Is this the live chat before Christmas? No, there will be one on Sunday, Andrew, and I think Sunday will be the last one. I have to sort of work it out, because I think Tuesday is Christmas Eve, is it? Let me have a look at the map here quickly. Tuesday, Christmas Eve, so I probably won't do a live stream on Tuesday, but Sunday, yes. Sunday, yes. I might put out other content on Tuesday during the day, but I don't think I'll do a live stream, considering that there'll be things happening. Andres coming in from Pasadena, California. Haven't caught a live stream since I was in Bilbao. Keep up the great work. Thanks, Andrew, for that. Valued member too. El Lobo Loco, apparently. Yeah, obviously. Jealousy, probably the reason for the crime. I don't know. But the story was that the Lobo was going out with a young lady, and her ex-boyfriend was the one who is no longer with us. So, yeah, obviously a case of jealousy there, or something going on behind the scenes that we don't really know. But I remember hearing an interview with I think it was an Australian police officer many, many years ago, and he said whenever there's a murder, the first people the police suspect is somebody close to the victim. So whether that's a family member or a friend or a work colleague, that's where they start looking, and they work their way out from there. So in this case here, the Colombian, I think he was a Cuban gentleman, the person who was killed, and the obviously the ex-girlfriend was high up on the list of police suspects, I imagine, and her current boyfriend, El Lobo. I just think they didn't have any evidence until the Google photos started to surface with that suspicious-looking package being put into the back of into the trunk or the boot of a car. Yep, but that's what happens. That's what happens. Now that's the end of the live chat. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm going to wrap it up there. 8:10. I'll be back again on Sunday, as I said, with the last live stream before Christmas. I think, don't quote me on that, but I reckon it will be. It's been a pleasure as always. Hasta luego, hasta entonces, adios. Great start to the weekend. Bye-bye.